Okay, hello everyone. We're here for the summary of our sprint review, 321, and we're also going to be forecasting sprint 322. So let's dive into it. I'll quickly mention here, we've got Mike here, our PO. We've also got Adam, Luke, and Lewis. So let's go. Cool. So here we will start with the sprint goals. So our sprint goals here, replace Kendo button dialog dropdowns and layout components with Angular material. This was seen to be a blocker in our main goal in the coming few sprints, which is to update Angular. As we'll discuss further later, some decisions were needed to be made. So there is a PBI that addresses this, which will go into more detail. But what it meant is we didn't progress on removing these Kendo elements. Um, Another sprint goal here was have Cookie review the Ingram Micro done video. This one as well, we had an extra bit of functionality that was starting to be developed by Toby, and that meant that it wasn't worth reviewing the video until we got that bit of functionality done, which I can talk more to when we get to the done PB items. What we did get done was prompt Ingram Micro for a technical meeting. So quite early in the sprint, which was quite fortuitous, we found out that the blocker for our full implementation of Ingram Micro, that is the issue that meant we wouldn't be able to persist our margins coming from Ingram Micro through to our products when we imported them, that should be fixed in the coming months. When that's done, we'll be able to uh, progress on that issue in Ingram Micro.
So Ingram Micro are coming to the party with that, are they? And are going to supply RRP?
Yeah, it looks like the option we'll be able to do is specify a margin and have that margin then dynamically increase the sell price when the cost price changes. So yeah, it's an option in Ingram Micro that'll get us what we need.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so yeah. So here the sprint duration was extended to 2 weeks. Uh, the reason for this instead of our 1 week was that we had a limited capacity. I was the only developer on the project, and I was drawn to other internal work that popped up, as well as some bugs popping up, which meant that my capacity was reduced for the sprint, and we moved it forward to now. We'll be resuming with a 1 week sprint after this.
Sam, just to
Yeah.
give like metrics on that,
Mm.
generally, like since you weren't able to commit to a full week, unless we have over 5 days, man days of work, that's basically what you've done over the last 2 weeks, maybe a
Mhm.
bit more. That's why you would do it over a 2 week period instead of 1 week.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a good amendment there is that I basically worked, yeah, one sprint of work in that time. So we'll continue down here to the work that was done. So one of the critical issues that popped up in this sprint was that we found issues with the editing of invoice items. In some instances, when we edited invoice items on our elements here. So we'll just add this one. This is one that's working. We can see if we reduce the price here, that the sell price has gone to 4,500. If we add that item, that we can see that those values are all correct there, and they're correct here as well for the total prices. So that's good. And although it's a bug fix, so there's no new functionality there, we can see that that's working now, which is great. There was uh, another issue here, which was the queries with valid paging cookie should not be executed in this strategy on staging, which is a very wordy PBI. But we can demonstrate that here, or look at the results that are popped up here, which is that our CRM imports, which import all of our data from the CRM through to our application for clients, etc., went down from 290 seconds to about 56 seconds in this run, and subsequent runs reinforced this this performance increase, which was great. So that was the other great bit of work that was able to be done in this sprint. And apart from that, there was HSTS bug. That was quite simple, just a bit of config that we needed to change. And another bit of work was the The bit of work I mentioned at the start, which delayed the sprint goal here, but was very important, which was uh, reviewing the functionality of Kendo and Material UI to see if we wanted to move off of or onto fully onto one of those UIs. The decision that's been made here and will be shown in the forecast for the next sprint is that we're actually delaying this decision on whether we migrate our UI libraries away or to one of these. Instead, we're focusing on upgrading Angular as is with the components we've got, which means remaining on Kendo. And we will get our Angular version up as high as we can and treat the security of our application as the main priority. And then we'll resume this the decision to remove Kendo down the line if that's what we decide to do. So you can see that these committed items here won't be carried on to the next sprint. So we've got the suggested timesheet usage here. We didn't find much of a difference. It's within the normal bounds. Once again, reiterating that our GitHub integration, which will be upcoming, will be the greatest benefit here. We can see the burn down trend here. As I alluded to, this doesn't show a great picture, but that was due to the disruptions in the sprint. Yeah, we expect to see that fall in line
How did
in
that
the
go
coming
up
sprint.
over time? Were people adding more PBIs or something
Yeah,
mid-sprint?
yeah.
Is it the bugs?
Yeah, so it's the bugs. So two of these, I believe, at least 6 of those points were the bugs that came in, which were fixed and then released within the last sprint. So, yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough. That happens. I would probably just try and be a bit more diligent about if you're adding something mid-sprint, insist on having something taken off as well. We've got a rule on that, right? Because yeah, otherwise you end up with this inverted burn down chart, which doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. No, good point. I'll definitely do that in future sprints because bugs are always going to happen, aren't they? Yeah, so here we have the code coverage. Once again, if you're interested in this, feel free to pause the video at any time. But everything's looking pretty clean. We noticed no issues with our overall application health. We were able to deploy twice. That was for both bugs. There's more metrics here on the application health. And in terms of the epics, one new item came in for upgrading Angular. So you can see that this number 18, it goes to 19 and it was able to be completed. That was the investigation from into Kendo. And we expect this epic here, the upgrade, to be the epic that will be progressed in the next sprint. We've got the Yakshaver use, which has changed quite a bit from last week because of the users that have come through. Sorry, the team members that have come out and the team members that have come in since the last sprint. So we've got the retrospective here. I've just added notes here myself. So what went well is we were able to address the bugs that came in, which is great. It meant we were able to at least address those as they came in. What didn't go so well, sprint goals were not able to be met. As discussed, JK also another team member of ours, a previous senior team member of ours, had to be brought in for a few hours of work to assist, which I loved, but yeah, it took him away from the work he was on. Yeah, what improvements we made for the next
I
sprint?
would consider that a thing that went well, that you were able to get JK to help with the bug. Yeah, I'd probably move it into the what went well. When you get stuck and you call someone in, that's a very positive thing to get the help.
Well, I agree with that. I think it was quite positive for me as well because with a very little amount of work, he was able to help me, direct me with a bit of work that I wouldn't have had much context on.
I'm going to encourage you to do it more. Yeah, because he's working on rewards, but TimePro is more important.
Yeah.
One other thing to say go well is that we now have it's not an ideal solution, but we have an ideal solution to tie up the Ingram micro thing. We sort of have a path forward.
Yeah. Is that?
Yeah. Well, I'll consider that once you've got the video done and checked by Cookie, and you fix the bugs that Cookie's raised, then and you do a new video, I will consider that Ingram Micro great.
We just got an approach now, which is good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, keep going.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. If everyone's happy with that, I'll continue through to the forecast. So here we have the forecast for Sprint 322. So this just has one sprint goal. We wanted to keep it focused, and that is the Angular upgrade from 10 to 12. So going through to the PBIs here, may look like a little bit of a light sprint, but this accounts for one developer, which is me. So I will first commence with the work that Toby was doing, the extra bit of functionality to Ingram Micro that we wanted to have a look at, the cost decrease, and then I will be moving on to upgrading to Angular 11 and then 12. Just a note here that I believe that although we want to step up as gradually as we can, we may be able to jump straight to 12 after talking with some colleagues. So yeah, that'll probably be the next sprint. But personally, if we can get to 12 in the next sprint, that would be awesome.
Okay, one last thing, Sam. If you go to a browser and search rules, SSW rules performance metrics, I want you to follow this rule, which is essentially record the performance currently with Angular 10. And then when you upgrade to Angular 12, run the same thing again to see if it's faster or slower. It's a very old rule. It was written probably 25 years ago, but it's still relevant.
Yeah, cool. It'd be nice to see some what the tangible benefit is of upgrading. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Cool.
Great.
Excellent.
Cool. So thanks, everyone. That's been the review for Sprint 321 and looking forward to Sprint 322. If you'd like to see this, it'll be on our SSW TimePro channel here.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.